Cross
That's
Purcell.
one of the one that contest with y'all.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. So that's right. That's right. So that's where me and Michael Whitebeard met and began getting cool. And he brought Diamond over. He said, "Hey, Walt, man, Diamond just he want to get into the music, man. So he bought all this equipment, but we don't know how to work it because Diamond was gonna get behind Michael Whitebeard."
Uh-huh.
And so I said, okay. I said, well, let me see what kind of equipment he got. And so Diamond brought him and Michael Whitebeard brought all the equipment over, and they had R8 drum machines. This was the first time I had a ASR 10. So
wow.
They had state of the art.
Yeah.
So I went from working on a Casio SK5 to a $3,500 keyboard.
Oui.
I was like, oh man. Then the drum machine, that R8 rolling drum machine was about $1,500, $2,000. So I said, oh man. So we hooked everything up down in my mama's basement, and that's when they became a part of Black Mafia. So me and Diamond, we were on the executive part as far as how we're going to put out this tape and how we're going to get this tape distributed and everything. We're going to get distribution. So Diamond was a part of the vision for when it came to marketing and advertising. That was me and Diamond.
Golly, man. And again, we're not even 21 yet.
No.
Yeah, no. We're not even 21 yet. So
we came out with Black Mafia in 91. So this was 89, 88, 89.
So the album cover, I think, was one of the most creative, iconic, because you didn't need lettering, you didn't need writing. It spoke for itself. It was Diamond Shields, aka Boss Hoss, rest in peace, Black Walt, yours truly, DDL Marshall, and Marlon White.
That's right.
And we used Marlon's Cadillac.
That's
he
right.
had a clean Cadillac, man. And we was pulled out at the stop sign in the middle of 55th Street. They was jacking us. And then at the back of the cover, it told the ending result of how they were pulling off in the Cadillac as we laid out in the middle of the street, unalive. So
here we are. We got this white photographer from the suburbs.
Yeah.
Never been to the hood. He's taking a picture for us. And remember, this is like fall of 1990 because we released it in 1991. This is fall of 1990. And so I had on the cover, I got my Mac 10 and Diamond has a sawed-off shotgun. And we got hiccups on like we just escaped jail or something. And so Diamond grabs the Mac 10 first. He said, Walt, you check the bullets in here? He said, I said, yeah, I checked them. Ain't no bullets in there. He said, nah, I know you. He said, let me check. Pop, 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 pop. Everybody looked like.
Hey, that was about to be pointed to my head.
Pointed to Dewan's head, man. DL's head. I thought I had checked it, but I guess I didn't check it thoroughly. Well, when Diamond shoots these shots off, here come the police again.
Here we go again.
Here come the police.
Here's your keys, idiot.
The people didn't call the police. The neighbors didn't call, talking about it's two young men dead in the middle of the street.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, man.
Yes. And probably gonna scare that photographer away in a second.
He was ready to leave. He was ready to pack it up and go. And we talked.
Exactly.
We got that gift. And that's another thing we're gonna get to. The gift of gab was strong between that young man and this young man. Just know. Oh my God. Oh my God.
So we talked him in the stand and we end up shooting that iconic cover, like Brother DL said, man. The rest is history.
So that does well. Now everybody's like, okay, how is Walt gonna follow this up? Not Black Mafia, but how is Walt? How did you deal with that kind of pressure, Walt, to where it seemed like everything was directed on you?
It was just natural for me because it was the love It was the love. See, I didn't look at the pressure. I just looked at it as, hey, this is what I love to do. So, I spent hours and hours. As soon as we got out of school, Walt gone.
Yep.
They know where Walt at.
Yep. In the basement.
In the basement. Period.
Yep.
And I would be there from 3 o'clock all the way till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. My mama would come and make me turn that stuff off. Turn it off now.
Yep.
Okay, mom. But it was just my love, man. I just love the music. So I didn't mind creating. The creation process was just a part of it, and I loved it.
So now we transition from Black Mafia to Illamath Entertainment. What caused the name Family?
Yeah,
Family. That's right. And then after Family was Illamath.
That's right.
What was the name change about? And then how did we go through those next 3 steps from Black Mafia Family to Illamath?
Well, because Black Mafia, after we made the Black Mafia tape, and the tape was so successful, we ended up selling like 30,000 tapes, 30,000 units, and we had distribution. So after that, Short Nitty went to jail. If you remember, Tyrone Kendall, this is the first time he went to jail.
Yeah.
He went to jail. And then also, there was another reason why I changed the name. No. He went to jail and I stopped messing with the music.
Yeah.
That's when I stopped messing with the music. And the reason why, because I had really my family had a street business enterprise. You know what I'm talking about. As y'all know,
pharmaceutical department.
Yeah. They had
unfortunately, I know it from myself. Yeah, so
absolutely
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so and this is when the epidemic had hit really hard, as we know, during the early 90s, the late 80s. So, I took part in that, and I found precedent in that, and I really started, just enjoying that part of life because of the fruits of the labor that was coming along with that.
Yeah.
You had Tech Nine, he's like, wow, man, he would call me every single day. When are we gonna record? When are we gonna record, man? When we get back in the studio? When we get back in the studio?
Uh-huh.
I said, bro, man, I'm doing something right now. I'm busy. Don Juan, same thing. The producer, Don Juan.
Shout out Don Juan.
Yeah, Don Juan had came around to the house. Legendary Don Juan. Everybody in Kansas City know. Don Juan had made so many legendary big hits, man. Tech Nine and others in the industry. So Don Juan would come to the house, and I originally was signing Don Juan up under me. He with Black WALT.
Yeah.
And so, but because I got so involved in the street, I just didn't have time for it. Right. So I introduced Don Juan to Diamond.
Yeah.
So, and Diamond told me, he said, well, I'm going to go ahead and keep going with the music. Well, I said, well, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Here's a producer right here. He's cold.
Yeah.
So I introduced him to Don Juan. Now, Don Juan was not happy about that at all. And Don Juan will tell you about it.
Oh, yeah.
Don Juan was not happy. He was pissed off because he's like, man, Walt is the Dr. Dre of the hood. I want to be with Walt.
Mm-hmm.
Diamond don't know how to do music. What I'm going to do with Diamond? So, Don Juan was pissed off at me, man. But I had left off and I was doing my little street thing or whatever. And hey, history was made because they started Midwest Side.
Yeah.
Yep.
And look at what they accomplished over there.
Yep.
They took it to a whole nother level.
Yep.
And Tech Nine called me. And back then loyalty was real big with us.
Yeah.
And Tech called me. He said, "Hey, Walt, this guy named Icy Rock wants to work with
DJ Icy Rock."
That's right. Another legend.
Legendary. That's right.
Before you go any further, Before you go any further, Walt, let me say this to you. So let me put a pin in it. So this is the amazing part about all of us being around each other, because I've been knowing Dewan forever too. Yeah. And I've been around you forever. Yeah. And it's just crazy, but not at the same time.
Yeah.
Icy Rock the first group that he ever DJ'd for was the Kool-Aid Crew.
Wow.
You knew that.
Wow. Yeah, Tech went on and went with Icy Rock.
Yep.
And Don Juan and Diamond had Midwest Side. Don Juan had Misery.
Yeah.
And so, they combined them and, was doing their business together. Well, then, of course, they end up going to get Tech 9 and the rest is history.
Yep.
So, that's pretty much how that went, my brother.
Okay. So now you went from losing an integral part of Black Mafia lyric wise to incarceration. Now all of a sudden you start to get this itch again, but instead of using Black Mafia, now it's the family. Let's talk about that era. Okay,
family came about in 94, 95. And I'm gonna tell you right now, what gave me that itch back was hearing what Tech, Don Juan, and Diamond was doing.
Yeah.
When they came out with Cloudy Eyed and they came out with Mitch Bade.
Yep.
My goodness. I said, whoa, this is beautiful. So I said, man, I got to get back into this music.
Yeah.
Well, that's what, pushed the family. And we had me, OG Riff.
Yep.
I don't know if y'all remember OG Riff.
Yep.
And Al Fox.
Yeah, Al's my dude.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Al Fox and Quincy and Michael Whitebeard.
Yeah.
Yep. Q Dog and Michael Whitebeard. That's
Yeah.
right. So, we was all family and we started recording under the family and we made a hit song called The Show Me State.
Yep.
And this song got played on the radio, man. We got major radio play for like 2-3 months, in the city of the Show Me State. And but that's how the family came about. And then one day out the blue, I got a letter in the mail, which was a cease and desist letter.
Oh, wow.
You can no longer use this name, The Family.
Wow.
Absolutely. It was a Spanish group called the La Familia.
Oh, yeah.
And they said we couldn't use that name called The Family.
Yep.
So
Wow.
I said, well, what am I going to change it to? So one day it just hit me. I said, man, what if I turn around and make it backwards?
Yeah.
And I started playing with the, how to say it in the enunciation. And I came up with Illamath with an I instead of a Y.
Why? Yeah.
And that's how Illamath came about.
Dope.
ILIMAF.
Dope. Well,
Yeah,
I remember after we got grown, I'm gonna push it up a little bit. After we got grown, Walt has had success with Black Mafia, with the family. Now Illamath is in full swing. It's almost like now you were at a point to where it was like how Pac was with Thug Life. Like
That's
you
right.
had a group of young Thundercats
That's
that
right.
you were cultivating them for how to approach the mic and how to approach the business. Man, they came to your house, they slept at your house, they ate at your house. Y'all moved as a family. And I remember y'all moved right next door to me, and I would raise my window, and I was like, he in there cooking again. He in there cooking again. And it was almost like I had a backstage pass, pun intended, view of what was going on and what was cooking, man. I know that was difficult, but I know it was also gracious at the same time. You came up with some with drama. You came up with Daryl Kashan. So many hits, man. Take us through that album and that project.
Just like you said, I just wanted to cultivate the young guys in the neighborhood. I wanted to grab them, and I want, the guys that were rapping in the neighborhood. So the first members of Illamath, which were, of course, Quincy, Q Dog, that was my right-hand rap partner at this time now. So he basically pretty much filled in the shoes for Short Nick.
Yeah.
So Q Dog Quincy was the one that, I bounced off of. So then I brought in T-Rone, and Reg, because they was from the hood and they was rapping. And I remember one day we was gambling together and they was rapping. I said, boy, you boys got something. I said, okay, come on up. We're gonna record something. And so that was Illamad. And then we turned into like a Wu-Tang clan then.
Sure did.
We brought in like 6-7 members. And I met all of them through Chuck, through Donnie.
Yep.
These little brother. Shout out to Chuck. So
what's up, Chuck?
Chuck was hanging with all these little roughnecks from down north, from the north side. And he came to me one day, he said, Walt, he said, man, all my homeboys, they rap, man. And, you know, they want you to hear them. I said, well, let me check them out. And so I'm sitting there listening to them. It's like 8 of them, man. They going back to back and they bouncing off each other. They already got a crew in the clique called themselves HTD, which was Home of Death. So they already had their crew together. And I'm listening to them. I said, whoa, man, these boys is not, this is a Kansas City Wu-Tang. This is what I'm visioning in my head. So I said, hey, come on, I'm taking all y'all to the studio. And we talking about Noogie Man. We talking about Raymond Balls. We talking about Ken Lowe. We talking about the 3 brothers, Derek, Dev, and JB.
Yeah.
And then we talking about J Ball, and which was Jason, and their cousin Joe.
Okay.
This was everybody that was in their group. So I ended up bringing them on, and that's how we made Illamad, man. And like you said, we was over in the house, and man, we used to just go hours and we used to go days and days of just recording. Absolutely.
That's true. Yeah. So man, so now we got childhood, we've got adolescence, we got teenage degrees, and then all of a sudden the music seemed like it's going, and once the music gets to going, all of a sudden it's like the music stops. And like we all know,
not yet.
Okay, go ahead.
Because
it's certain.
now we got to transfer from Illamad, which we had a good run as Illamad. We had a run from 1998 all the way to 2004.
Wow.
And now, and we traveled. Now this, with Illamad, this is where we hit the road. We traveled and we did shows everywhere. We was everywhere. We was in Florida. We was in Texas. We was everywhere. We was everywhere as Illamad. Now, I'd never really experienced, being out there and doing shows and on the road. And we were selling our CDs out the trunk.
Yeah, pop the trunk distribution.
Out the trunk, man. We would go to a city during spring break. We would go to Daytona Beach. Mm-hmm. We would go to Panama City. We would go everywhere, man. And we would go down there with 1,000, 2,000 CDs, and we'll come back boxes empty.
Wow.
Every time. So, but after this, everybody pretty much start going their own way. That's when Black Walt was born.
Okay.
Black Walt, the artist, the solo artist.
Gotcha.
Black Walt was born, and that's when I did the album Rules to the Game, which I took a picture on Miss Varney's card. So that's when that was born, which I still use members of Illamad to be on these projects.
Definitely.
But, that's when Black Walt was born. And Black Walt had his run all the way from 2004 was when that came out, the first solo. I made 6 solo albums.
Wow. I didn't realize you had made that many.
Either, man. But I think at this time I was gone. Like,
yes, sir. I made 6 of them from 2004 all the way to 2010.
Wow.
Now, that's when, now let's go and segue into what you was going into.
Now, clear up some confusion with me. I may have asked you this before. That tail feather beat. Did you do that beat?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Man, listen, I've been y'all quit calling me a liar when I'm telling y'all stuff that I know what I'm knowing. I live right next to that bump, 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 bump. I heard it enough times to where when I heard it on the radio, I pulled over. Walt, literally, I pulled over, and I was happy, but I was kind of I was waiting to hear your voice. Yeah, I had heard it at your studio crib.
Absolutely.
And when I heard what it was for, the soundtrack and who had it, I said, "Oh, my dude done did it. He did it." Take us through that process.
When I was doing tracks, I didn't know the value.
Yes.
Of tracks. I didn't know the value at all.
Go ahead.
I would do tracks. In this particular track, that tail feather track, it was a naked track.
Yeah.
I didn't, I hadn't even planned nothing for it or anything. And we met Nelly as Illamav down in Columbia. He heard Illamav CD with Don't Piss Me Off.
Don't. Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, when him and the St. Lunatics heard that beat, they hurry up and ran up to the DJ booth. Said, man, who did them tracks?
Uh-huh.
And, everybody Illamav said, man, Black Wall, he did them. He did the tracks. So, we end up talking. We exchanged numbers. And, it was one of his guys that was a manager. I can't think of his name, and I'm trying to think of his name. It'll come to me. But he was like a manager, really in them. But anyway, me and him kept in contact. He's the person that heard the beat. When he heard the beat, he said, well, let me get that beat from him. I said, all right, what you going to give me for? He said, man, just sign over the rights and everything, give you $10,000 for it. Back then, getting $10,000 for a track, that's beautiful. I'm not looking at the business side. I'm not thinking this can turn into a platinum hit. I'm not thinking of none of that. Give me that 10. Give that 10. So I gave him the beat for 10, and they took it to their producer. Their producer did what he did, added the bells and whistles, put his name on the production credit, and there you have it.
Wow.
So
that's where it originated. Y'all looking at him right there. That's where that Shake Your Tail Feather beat originated from.
But even during this time, I had did beats. I had did tracks for E40. I did a track with E40 and Vail Bacardi.
I remember.
Yeah. I did a track with E40 and Vail Bacardi. Then,
shout out 40 Water, Vail.
Absolutely. And then when I moved to Florida, I started doing tracks, and Plies was releasing, all his underground music during this time. And Plies had ended up getting a hold of one of my tracks, and he did a song on there as well.
Wow.
I was moving and mixing in the industry and just putting tracks out and, here and there. But, I never jumped out, and said, hey, that's Black Walt. That's me. That's my music. That's me. Because that ain't never been my style. But,
man, your music has taken you in front of legendary people now. A lot of people can walk past people now, realize the legend is in them. You've always understood it. Those that knew you always understood it. But a lot of people don't realize before Kim Kardashian was Kim Kardashian, she was following Black Walt around. And we'll leave it right there. Floyd Mayweather, before he was Money Mayweather, when he was still Pretty Boy Floyd, he was taking photos with Black Walt.
Yeah, bro. Good brother too, man. Shout out to Floyd Mayweather, man. That's a good brother right there, man. We had a lot of good times together, man. Shout out to Floyd Mayweather.
hey, Walt, I
didn't know where you was about to go.
I was sitting there like this. I thought I was going to.
I'm just talking about pictures. Y'all want to know anything else? You gonna have to go find it in the book. That's it.
That is crazy.
Oh man, but I mean,
Black Walt, you and T. Lou was friends too, right?
Who's that?
T. Lou. I mean, ain't that his name? Teron Lou.
Oh yeah. Lou's my partner, man. Yeah, that was my guy, man.
Yeah.
We used to party out at Teron's house, man. I used to go to the games and everything, man. Yeah. Shout out
Yeah.
to Teron, man. If you see this, Teron, man, get at me.
Yeah,
Bro.
definitely. We'll try to get it out. So now, Walt, we got this level of celebrity. We down in Florida, man. Your crib plush. I mean, like plush.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna leave it at that. Plush, like Hollywood actor. Plush.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden, things start to close in around you. Pick me up from that point when you first felt the grip of the game.
First of all, see, Billy, I had to remember, man, I'm talking to somebody that knows everything about me from A to Z. Period.
Exactly. Right.
He knows everything, man. So, because he knows as well as a lot of people know, I'm a very private person. Right. I don't talk about a lot of stuff, and I don't put a lot of stuff out there. So the things that we are talking about right now and that we are disclosing, most of the people that know me are hearing this for the first time, are hearing these things for the first time in detail, the way they are hearing. So this is a beautiful platform, and I feel comfortable and safe letting it go on this platform right here.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was 2002. I want to take it back to 2002.
Okay.
I got in a situation to where I had got in the street life deeper than I had ever got into it before. Yeah. So the things that I was receiving and the things that I was a part of was at a level I had never seen before. It was ridiculous. It also made me more aware than I had ever been, because I couldn't let nobody know this level I was at.
Yeah.
So I started moving different, and I started being more reserved and more recluse. And in Kansas City, you would see me a certain way, but if you caught me down in Miami or you caught me in Houston, because I was traveling a lot, Atlanta, and you'll be like, man, what is Black Walt got going on? What is he doing? Mm-hmm. So moving down to Miami, moving down to Florida was an escape move, actually. One of the guys that I was, tied into, who was really, bringing everything to the forefront, he got caught up in some trouble. Mm-hmm. And when he got caught up in some trouble, I said, oh, man. Well, no, before I even say this part. So one day I step out on the porch. I had that big picture glass.
Yep.
So it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I step out on the porch and I look up the street towards my mom's house. My mom's house was right on the corner. So this is our neighborhood, this 55th. So I look up the street and I see an unmarked car sitting there. And so I said, man, let me go get my binoculars. Let me see what's going on. So I went and got my binoculars. I looked through my binoculars, and guess what I see? I see them looking up in their binoculars at me.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And I had been calling my guy. I had been calling him and calling him. And normally he's clockwork. He's going to be here when he say he's going to be here, at what time, what place, whatever. And he hadn't showed up. So I put two and two together. I said, well, wait a minute. I ain't talked to him in a week. And I'm seeing this right here. Yep. Something ain't right. It's time to go. So I didn't take no clothes. I didn't take no furniture. I let everybody, family in the hood, come get this. It's y'all's. Y'all can have all this. And I just took, a few duffel bags with me, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
I jumped in a car and I hit the highway. And when I hit the highway, I landed in Atlanta first. and I had a friend there, and then I ended up going down to Florida, and that's when I started spending my money. And started getting nice houses and nice cars and things of this sort, and built my studio down there. And that's when I really, really just said, I'm gonna focus on music. Music is what I'm gonna do, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm done with that part of life. I'm cool with that. I have my run. I'm straight. Music is what it is. And I started recording, and at this time I started Illamath Records. This is when I started signing artists. So the first artist I signed was either Infinity or Young Boss.
I think it was Infinity.
Okay, I think so too. I think I signed Infinity first. So I signed Infinity, and then I signed Young Boss, and then I was doing like a management / record company deal with Ron.
Okay.
And I also signed Steve Yancey.
Okay.
I was about to ask you about Steve.
Yeah. Steve Yancey was signed a long
time ago.
Shout out.
Yeah. We completed a whole album for Steve Yancey, man. And we didn't get to put it out because they came and picked me up. But before I get to the part of them coming to pick me up, so we are doing the music. Now I'm really tied in. I'm tied in with T.I. I'm tied in with Jermaine Dupri. I'm tied in with all the big name rappers, man. I'm tied in with all of them. So we're doing shows with all of these big artists. And then I got the money at the time too to also bring these artists in concert. I'm having these concerts in Kansas City. We moving around. We're going from state to state. Man, it's really, really, really going well. And I get a phone call. This is 2000, speed up from 2005 to 2000, the end of 2007 going into 2008. I get a phone call. And lo and behold, it's somebody that I don't know, but he's connected with those people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he calls me. He said, "Hey, man, I was given your number and told to call you because you was the man that I needed to talk to take care of some things for." I said, "Nah, man, I'm done with that. I'm cool. I'm done with that life. I'm straight." So we hang up. Wasn't nothing to it. Call back about a week later. Hey, why don't you come check something out for me? I just need a little bit of your time. Come see what I'm talking about. Nah, I'm cool, man. I'm straight, man.
Right.
Boom. Hang up. Back to my recording, back to everything. Call again about another week later. This time, he talked my language at the time. Hey, man, man, you just come see what I'm talking about. And he say a name as well. He say, "Hey, so-and-so told me to call you. And you come see what I'm talking about, man. I'll pay you for your time." And I ain't going to say how much.
Oh, yeah, please don't. Yeah.
Gotcha. Say how much. But it was a very lucrative amount.
Right.
And so I'm like, just to go see what he's talking about. Okay. So I catch a red eye from Florida up to Kansas City.
Yep.
Stop right there. We're going to take a break. We're going to put you on a cliffhanger. And when we come back, Black Walt's going to finish telling us this legendary story from a legendary fella. I am Mr. Savoir-Faire DDL Marshall. He is Billy Bird. This is our special guest, Black Walt. We'll be back after this.
Well, look who's traveling again. It's yours truly, Mr. Savoir-Faire, DDL Marshall. And guess what? Once again, low-cost airlines come through once more and again. I'm about to head up out of here, but I had to take a moment just so you can see how many happy low-cost airline customers it is. You want to be one? Sure you do. Go to 1-800-708-3091. That's 1-800-708-3091. Tell them DL sent you. You could be everywhere like Mr. Savoir-Faire. I'm up out of here. They ain't gonna close the door on me this time.
is yours truly, the voice, Mr. Savoir-Faire, the DL Marshall. He is Billy Bird, and this is our very special guest, none other than the 55th Street legend himself, Black Walt. Hey man, I thank you so much, Walt, for being gracious with your time. Before we took the break, man, you were on a red-eye flight from Florida to Kansas City.
Yep.
On that flight, at any time did you question, man, I shouldn't have got on this flight, or was everything copacetic?
Everything was copacetic. Everything was copacetic. So when I got to Kansas City, when I got to the airport, a certain fella picked me up, and you know, he had what he said he was going to have for me right then and there. So I'm like, okay, cool, all right, let's go see what it is. Now, and remember this, I don't know this fella,
right?
But I'm working off of
a name.
Yeah,
got you.
And I know the name that he said to me was a very important name, and you can't just call this name.
Right. You got to be connected at some point.
You have to be in order for you to call this name.
Yeah.
So I'm going off this name. So when I get there, he calls me and he said, "Hey." So I talked to him. "What's up? This is my buddy."
Yeah.
"It's my buddy. You know, hey, what's happening? We ain't seen each other, you know, in a few years. What's going on? How you doing, man? Woo, woo, woo." Yeah. Okay. And, you know, once I seen what everything was, what they called me up there for, long story short, I made the run, did what I did, boom, 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 got back on the plane, headed back down to Florida. A little bit healthier than what I went up there. So, when I got back to Florida, I'm back to.
It was a good trip so far. It was a good trip.
Very good trip. Very, very good trip. So I'm back in Florida. I'm chilling, back to doing my music. You know, we chilling. Everything we kick. Phone rings again. Probably about a month later. I would fly back and forth and, you know, whatever. But long story short, this particular individual, he just wasn't solid.
Yeah.
It always work out that way.
Yeah.
He just wasn't solid, man. So when the axe fell, because, you know, I was moving around and doing my thing, you know, I wasn't so much in the binoculars.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so when the axe fell, you know, it was a roundup, but, you know, Black Walt wasn't in the roundup.
Yeah.
So, then, of course, you know, I like how Black Walt didn't. No, he didn't. So you know how that goes. So
been there and done that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wouldn't worry about that. That didn't worry me one bit. But then when he got in his situation, he had some other things going on, you know, outside of that, you know, that made the scope bigger for him, for them to come to him and say, well, hey, what about this guy? And what about this guy right here? You don't tell us about this guy, Black Walt. We got something for you. You'll never see the light of day again. And we know you just had a brand new baby. You'll never see your baby again. And so, you know, he did what he did and said what he said. So, hey, that's how it went. 13 years later, here I am.
Praise God for it. Man, I remember just how solemn it was. Because, like, I had just had a baby, my youngest. I kind of, you know, when you know your people, you kind of know, but that's how we was raised. Well, you don't ask. If he want me to know, he gonna tell me. But I did realize, I was like, I've ridden in the BMW, but I didn't get in the Range Rover. And it was always, hey, well, I gotta run. And I looked at it, I said, man, my brother's protecting me.
Yeah, absolutely.
From things. And I really, man, I salute you for that. I respect you for that. I love you for that.
That's right.
And so I remember you coming up, you said, hey, Juan, I want to holler at you about something. And I could hear the urgency in your voice. and we kind of walked up the block a little bit from my house, and you was like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna have a couple of people out to the house." You remember that? And you said, "Cause I gotta do what I gotta do." I think it was the next day or the day after that, and I think that's when it hit me, like, you know what I mean? And it's like,
hey, clarify that when you say I got to do what I got to do, you know, because I go.
You had to turn yourself in.
Not nobody else but himself.
Absolutely, there you go.
Hey, because you know it's sad, man. But people, and you know what I hate to say it, but Kansas City, and I love my city, but we are the worst.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. What do you do? I knew it. Listen,
the worst in speculation, man, and putting everybody in the group.
That's his man's. That's his man's that said it.
Man. So I'm with you on that one. Well,
thank you for helping me clarify that. But certain things is hard for me to speak, even though he's gone through it and come out of it. I just hate saying that he had to turn himself in. I remember saying, "Bro, how long?" Yeah. And when you said it again, I was like, "Oh man!" So when we got to your house, it was like everybody that you wanted there was there.
That's right.
And it was like we were celebrating our friendship, our family ties.
You talking about
something?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
But I just couldn't be happy because I knew what you were facing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at the time, I don't have the money to even be supportive. And I know you wasn't looking for that or nothing.
No.
And like the letters that we would write back and forth, man, I'm telling you, prayer works. Because Walt, no, man, I was praying, and then when we have phone conversations, you don't want to ask the dumb question. So how you doing? No, man, I already know you're not at your best because you're not where you want to be.
That's right.
But are you good? That was my "Are you good?" And we would talk. And man, I'm praying, God, if it's a way, man, I know this dude. I know he know his lesson. It don't take all that to be reformed for him.
Yeah.
If it's a way, please, Father, let him be able to come home, even if, and this was my prayer, one specific prayer at church, even if he can't go nowhere but to work, let him come home.
Yes.
Now you pick it back up, Walt. You did your bid, but man, how did the hand of God work on you while you were there and worked on you bringing you out of there?
There you go. And this the part I really get excited talking about. While I was in prison, first and foremost, I didn't know what to expect because I had never done prison time or a stint in prison. I had my little bumps and scrapes with the law, but I had never done prison time. So I didn't know what to expect. So I remember when I first, went in, which was May 5th, 2010 was when I started my actual bid, was May 5th, 2010. I ended up going in. They sent me up to Leavenworth, CCA. And, when I got to Leavenworth CCA, I didn't know what to expect because I did like the average human being would do. I'm visualizing prison as I see it on TV.
Exactly.
Right.
So this is what I'm thinking. So I come in with a 55th Street attitude.
Yeah.
You're not about to play with me. You're not about to mess over me. We're not about to happen.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you it was very strange too, because I was at the height of my music career as far as in the city.
Yeah.
So when I came in, everybody like, man, Black Walt on the compound, Black Walt. And they shouted me out on the radio. Shout out to Cool Wayne. Cool Wayne is playing my brand new. I made an album while I was on the run called Drama.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how Drama was birthed.
That's how Drama was made.
So it makes sense in the video why you was having a nightmare.
That's right. That's right. That's how drama was made. Because a lot of people didn't understand how I was talking about the things I was talking about in drama while they thought I was incarcerated. Like, how did you make drama while you was in? No, I made drama while I was on the run.
On the run, yeah, going to jail. Yeah.
I was going to jail. I had already Pat Peters had already presented me with the indictment and told me what I was up against.
They just had to get me. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I knew, how I got in this position, so all the information I used in drama. While I was there for my first month, I got in a fight. First month. I'm on 55th Street Go Town. First month. A dude changed the TV and he wasn't supposed to be touching the TV. And I'm sitting there with the OGs who actually, we watch the news every morning.
Yeah.
Dude come and just change the channel on us. I'm like, hey, bro, you see us watching this? We watch this every morning. And, he turned around, looked at me, give me a mean mug. He turned the channel back. I'm just giving y'all some prison stories and telling y'all.
Yeah, that's all right. Go ahead.
Anyway, so he turned, so some of the homeboys in the unit, they run down, shout out to my homeboy, Pat, and shout out to Man Low. And so they run down, they're like, whoa, man, what are you on? I said, I don't know what he on. So anyway, about 5 minutes later, dude come stand up over me.
Oh, wow.
I ain't like the tone of your voice.
Oh, wow.
So, hey, you know how we do.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, man, I didn't mean nothing by it, man.
Yeah.
There it is.
Take off.
we on the dance. So anyway, I go to the shoe for that. Go to the hole for 30 days for that. Get out the hole. I'm gambling. Now I'm gambling. Playing cards for money. I get a
that's gonna turn out real well.
Yeah, it's gonna turn out real good. I get to do like $1,500 in a hole gambling. He tell me flat out, I ain't paying you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What? Oh, come on in this room. He come in the room, boom, bam, boom, 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 boom. Back to the hole for another 30 days. And I got to give y'all these details to lead up to where I'm going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Take your time.
So, when I get out the hole this time, we end up on lockdown. We end up on lockdown because we had one of them. We had a warden that would come. He'd just come, look around, lock it down, lock it all down.
Oh, wow.
This particular time, we was on lockdown for 3 months. Well, come to find out, we had some boys from Washington, D.C. on the compound.